I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Privilege for me to say something about Homer Sledge. Homer and I were double first cousins. He was exactly 20 years older than me, but he was more like an older brother. Homer was real good to me. Homer was outstanding, in my opinion, businessman. He started this Nehi here on a shoestring and made a success out of it. I know back in the 30s, it was like 120-something bottling plants in the state of Mississippi. By the time of World War II came along, it was down to, I think, maybe 19. He survived the Depression because he was such a good manager. He knew how to save a dollar. Also, he went on the city board. He was the most progressive one for many years on the city board. A lot of the good things we have here in Cleveland, Homer Sledge was responsible for it. He did a great job, but he was the type of fellow he did not want to get credit for anything. He was a great guy, a great citizen. He was good for the town of Cleveland, and we miss him. Thank you.
Happy 90th anniversary, Homer, and I hope you really enjoy this day. I thank you for being such a wonderful and generous supporter of so many events in our community. But mostly, I thank you for being such a wonderful mentor and leader to me in this bank. You're such a wonderful supporter as chairman of the board of this bank, and I enjoy our friendship. I look forward to many more years together.
Mr. and Ms. Sledge and family, on behalf of the Cleveland Clinic and the Clark family, I want to thank you for what you've done for Cleveland and what you continue to do for our community. It's quite a privilege taking care of Mr. Sledge and his family. As for Mr. Sledge, we have to kind of treat him like a piece of antique furniture. We put a little putty here and there, polish here and there, and just try not to do anything that's going to make a leg fall off. Congratulations on this wonderful evening and celebration of the R.C. Nehi 90th anniversary.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night.
In 1990, I was hired as the regional sales manager by R.C. Cola. At the time, I was living in Akron, Ohio. And one of the bottlers I was going to be calling on was Mr. Homer Sledge in Cleveland, Mississippi. Well, Homer was well connected with the upper echelon at RC, and he informed him right away he didn't want any damn Yankee calling on him. So I took that as a challenge, and for a year and a half, when I was calling on Homer every month, "Want to go out to lunch, Homer?" Nah, sorry. He declined my invitation. Till one day, he said, "Yeah, come on," took me home with him. Well, I took that as meaning I went from a damn Yankee to a dear Yankee, and we've had a great relationship ever since. Congratulations, Homer, for 90 years in business. You're a great guy.
I remember meeting Homer Sledge in Chicago at the American Bottlers of Carbonated Beverage Convention. I think it was his first one, and we'd been calling on his dad and my dad. I had just started with my dad, and Homer was working for his dad, so we hit it off right away. And anyway, I asked him if they would like to go out to dinner, and yes, and so we went to the Playboy Club in Chicago, and it was quite an experience for a guy from Cleveland, Mississippi, and a girl from Rosedale, Mississippi, to go to the Playboy Club in Chicago. Anyway, we had a great time, and Homer couldn't win playing pool with the girls because she'd always lean down and it would distract him with his shots. Anyway, we had a great time that night, and anyway, it started off with a long and lasting friendship between our families and his family, and hopefully continue for a good while.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I'm Ron Aldridge, Executive Vice President of the Mississippi Beverage Association. And on behalf of our entire soft drink industry in Mississippi, we'd like to congratulate and to celebrate with the Homer Sledge family in recognizing 90 great years of service to their community and to our state through the Nehi Bottling Company in Cleveland, Mississippi. It's an exciting time to celebrate a 90th birthday. Just think back in 1927 when Mr. Homer Sledge Sr. starting a brand new business in a new town, Cleveland, Mississippi, just at the same year of the greatest flood of the Mississippi River into the Delta, the Great River Flood. And at that time, with nothing but dirt roads and having to have a transportation system to carry your products from place to place, many times underwater, and then just within 2 years later, going through the greatest depression this country has ever seen. Imagine those kind of odds of having success now for over 90 years. Homer Jr., everyone knows, hard-working, self-acclaimed, hard-headed, but he's just at heart a soft-hearted purveyor of soft drinks. He's one of a kind, and especially known for his Homer special brand of humor. And it's hard to be one of a kind in a family that's now into its fourth Homer Sledge. Working in the most competitive business there likely is, the soft drink industry, with very few players. What speaks so loudly of the character of Homer Sledge is this, that all your fellow bottlers, Homer, love and appreciate you. All call you their true and trusted friend, and we all wish you continued success for the future and for more generations of the Sledge family to come. Homer Sledge, you have a good name. More than that, you are a good man. Homer, a home run hitter who we've all counted on, Cleveland, Delta State, the Delta, and our soft drink industry to help us all win. Homer, Miss Joyce, all the Sledge family, we love you, dear friends, and thank you for always sharing your lives and your success. Happy 90th birthday, Cleveland Nehi. Homer, you better do what Miss Joyce says now for the next 10 years so we can celebrate a century of Cleveland Nehi and of all of what your dad started back in 1927.
Congratulations to the Sledges and Nehi Bottling Company for 90 years of a job well done. This community and this whole area and myself are truly better people because you have been involved in it. Thank you so much for being with me through school ventures, scout ventures, church ventures, and helping me always be a success. I can't tell you how many times you've covered for me on the calendar and coming out to check on me at 10 o'clock at night because I didn't order enough product. We have many, many stories to tell, don't we, Mr. Sledge? You always tell me that I should not work so hard, but I think that's the pot calling the kettle black. Thank you again for being a part of our community and teaching us what servanthood is. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Sledge family, on 90 great years of business in Cleveland. We also want to thank you for 90 years of wonderful corporate sponsorship in our community. You don't have to walk very far around this town to go to many places where you can't see the footprint that y'all have left here. And oh, by the way, just keep the H's coming so we can keep the RCs floating.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by.
I want to join all of your friends, Homer, around Cleveland, Bolivar County, and in your industry in congratulating you on a wonderful set of activities over the years, and to say to you how much Delta State, and I personally appreciate all your contributions to Delta State. This has been a marvelous run for your company, for Nehi, and for the Sledge family. We know and are totally aware of all your major contributions to our athletic department, for all the signage and all the sponsorships that you have done on campus generally, for our scholarship programs, for the B.F. Smith Chair some years ago, for things going way back having to do with our band, with the Delta Music Institute, with Aquatic Center, Bologna Performing Arts Center, and the list goes on and on. You are one of our greatest patrons and supporters, and all of us in the Delta State family love you. Congratulations on this milestone occasion.
The Delta Center for Culture and Learning at Delta State would like to say happy birthday to Nehi and congratulations on 90 years of being in Cleveland, Mississippi. Nehi and Homer Sledge have been an integral part of our operation. They have been a great partner with us. They come when they're called, and Homer enjoys to attend all things that the Delta Center invites them to. We really feel like we are blessed by having them in our partnership base.
Glad to be here today to discuss things about the Sledge family. I was told to talk about a minute, and I can't say good morning and how are your children and your neighbors and your dog and everything in 1 minute, so bear with me, but I won't stretch this out a long, long way. In 1927, Mr. Homer Sledge Sr. and my dad, Ed Cosman Sr., moved to Cleveland. They became fast friends right after they moved here. The Sledge family and our family lives have kind of paralleled each other each along the way. Mr. Sledge and Daddy both became members of the Cleveland State Bank Board. Homer and I are the same age. He's Homer Jr. and I'm Ed Jr. And Homer's son is Homer 3 and my son is Ed 3. And Homer and I started 4-year kindergarten together at the Hill Demonstration School. Our son started the Hill Demonstration School, started school together, and not the Hill Demonstration School, excuse me. They started school together, and they both graduated from Cleveland High School at the same time. I would like to say something about the Sledge family. Well, all the Sledges, the Nevin Sledges, the John Sledges, the Homer Sledges, those are the Sledges I was most familiar with. They're all just wonderful people, outstanding citizens of our community, and just lived a really good life. But going back to the Homer Sledges, Homer and I have been friends all of our lives, and I don't know of any family in Cleveland that is more generous, more charitable, more honorable, more wanting to help other people at all times. They've always gone the extra mile to help. They are well liked throughout the community. They are, I guess I can't say they're the pillar of the First Methodist Church, but they're among the pillars of the First Methodist Church. They've been very active in the church. Anytime I ever went to see Homer about a contribution, I can't remember him ever turning me down. If it was any kind of worthy cause at all, he was always glad to give and never act put upon. I remember as a child, Homer Sledge, John Sledge, Landis Hancock, Walter McFarland, Sonny Ramsey, we would go up on Saturdays, and the old Nehi plant is now the storage warehouse beside the current plant. And we would go in there, and Mr. Sledge allowed this. I can't believe it. I don't think he knew it all the time, but we would have RC wars in there. We would take the tops off, shake the bottles, and spew them at each other and run and get each other. The RC wars were a lot of fun, and Mr. Sledge allowed us that privilege sometime, and we didn't realize what a mess we were making up there at the plant. But I remember Homer and his family lived on Highway 61, about where Burger King is right now. And I lived on Andrews Street about 2 blocks away. And then when my parents built a new home, the Sledges built a new home at the same time, and they both used the same architect to draw the plans of the house. All I can just say is I had wonderful memories of Homer. We were in the car business, but I believe Homer got a prettier car for graduation than I did. He got a blue and white Chevrolet Bel Air two-door hardtop that was just one of the prettiest cars I've ever seen, and we all were jealous of Homer and his new car. Never took the limelight in anything. They just took care of business, and they took care of doing things throughout the community, and any good causes they worked in and they contributed to. And I remember one time I ran into Mr. Sledge at the bank, and he said, "Ed, I want to get Miss Artie, his wife, Miss Artie, I want to get her a new Cadillac." And he said, "You go over there and show her the Cadillacs and then find out what she wants and come back up here and we'll work out a trade." So I went over to the house, and I called Miss Artie and made an appointment and went over there. She said, "Ed, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, Mr. Homer would like to get you a new Cadillac." She said, "Ed, I've driven Buicks for about 40 years, and a Buick is a good enough car for anyone. I don't want a Cadillac." She said, "I don't want to ride around and be seen driving around in a Cadillac." And so that's kind of typical of the way Miss Sledge was. Everything good, but nothing showy, you know. And Miss Sledge hauled us around as young kids, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I also remember when they lived on Highway 61, it was a 2-lane blacktop road with no curbs and gutters. And they had a real long driveway, and Miss Sledge would have to back out onto the highway, and she would really shush us and make us be quiet when she was trying to back onto Highway 61, and just have lots of really good memories of the Sledge family. And of course, you know, you need to always remember any good man, there's a good woman behind him, and Miss Sledge was a wonderful woman. And Joyce, I've known Joyce almost all my life, and Joyce has been so wonderful and active in this community. And she really has backed Homer, and she's always given a big class reunion party at their house. I'll call it Joyce's house, but at their house before every class as the first night of our class reunions, and that's the best part of all my class reunions. Homer has been one of the spearheads behind our class reunion every time, and we've had one. We graduated in 1955, so y'all that are good at math can kind of figure out Homer's age and my age, but. Anyway, it's kind of the highlight of our class reunion. And I just want to say, we all love the Sledge family. My hat's off to all the things they've done, and I'm proud to say I'm a friend.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you."
Happy 90th birthday, Nehi Bottling. 90 years, same family, same spot, same town. Wow, that's fabulous. I have great memories of Mr. Homer Sledge. He and Daddy used to carry on all kinds of foolishness at Delta Cream Donuts and Cakes. And once Daddy died, I found myself going to the Homer Sledge School of Business several times and found that Mr. Homer had wonderful shoulders, fabulous ears, and the best hugs. He gave great advice. And Mr. Homer, I just want you to know that there are many people who aspire to be as successful and well thought of as you. Again, happy birthday, Nehi.
Congratulations to Nehi Bottling and the entire Sledge family on this monumental achievement of 90 years in business. When I first started calling on the Homers, I knew the relationship wasn't the best between Nehi and the Dr. Pepper parent company. So needless to say, I was a bit nervous, but by the end of the meeting, Homer hugged and thanked me for coming and working with them. And so it's truly been a pleasure calling on them, and I feel I've made lifelong friendships with the Sledges. I'm also honored to be part of your celebration and to be your Dr. Pepper Snapple Group Region Sales Manager rep.
I watch them grow. They learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
When I moved back to Cleveland in 1991 as one of the managing partners of Radio Cleveland, Homer was president of the board, and thus began my 10-year enrollment in the H.L. Sledge Junior School of Business. And I say sincerely, it was the toughest but most educational decade of my life. Here's what he taught me. If you're going to serve on a board, it's a privilege. Your job is to ask the tough questions and hold the management accountable. I know it made me better prepared when I made a proposal to the Radio Cleveland board. And I'll tell you publicly what I said privately to him in 2001 when my business partner and I bought out the other stockholders. Any success I've had in business has been because he's made me a better businessman. And as I'm sure he'll agree, any failures I've had, well, those are my own damn fault. Congratulations to H2, the Sledge family, and Nehi Bottling for an incredible 90 years.
I would like to say congratulations to the Sledge family on the 90th birthday of Nehi Bottling Company. It's been my honor to have been friends with the Sledge family all of my life, and it's been my privilege to have been their accountant for the past 45 years. Obviously, during that time, I found out that the Sledge men were slow to make changes, and I think one of the examples was that back in the 70s, I used to talk to Mr. Sledge Sr. regarding making gifts to both Joyce and Homer Jr. in order to reduce their estate tax. And during about 20 years of me discussing that with Mr. Sledge Sr., he finally came in one day and said he had decided to start making gifts to both Homer Jr. and to Joyce because after 22 years of marriage, it looked like they were going to stay together. Once again, I'd like to congratulate the Sledge family on the 90th birthday of Nehi Bottling.
I'm Billy Nowell, and I'm honored to talk about the 90-year history of Nehi Bottling Company and the Sledge family. My family business was next door to Nehi Bottling Company for many decades, so we became very close friends at the time. In the 1960s, Homer Jr. and Joyce bought my grandmother's house on Court Street, raised their family there, and then Homer III moved in and had raised his family there, but has since sold to the First United Methodist Church, and that is a church that the Sledges and the Nowells belong to and have for many years. So as you can see, we're very close and we're kind of like families. Homer Sledge Sr. was a long-term alderman for the city of Cleveland, and the good financial basis that the city has at this point, in my opinion, goes back to Homer Sledge Sr.'s time. He was way ahead of himself as far as finances was concerned, and he put Cleveland on a solid basis many years ago. And the reason the town is in good shape as it is today is because of great leaders like Homer Sledge Sr. and Homer Sledge Jr. We're all very close with Homer. He has given and given and given. If you go to a ball game at Delta State or you go to something at the Cleveland Park Commission, you will see one of the scoreboards that was given by Nehi Bottling Company. Not to say how many times they've given to so many different events, the soft drinks that they have provided for us for many, many years. Then you have Homer Sledge III. He's a chip off the old block. Everybody loves Homer, and he is given to Cleveland in many, many ways. And now we're down to Homer Sledge IV. Homer is a young man, but I can safely say that I think he's going to be a chip off the old block. And while we're having a 90-year Nehi Bottling time here, I think at 125 years that some of y'all will be here celebrating with Homer IV and Nehi Bottling Company. They have been a staple in Cleveland, and Cleveland is a much better place because the Sledges have come our way. Thank you.
Yes, I think to myself,